And welcome to Planet Collingwood, which really needs an intro, so I blame myself. There you are. I'm starting the show of shame, blame, and guilt. But I'll get over it. Let's move on. You're listening to Revolution Radio, Studio A. My name is Monty Dean. This is Planet Collingwood for another week. And the United States traveled through time on Sunday, so we can talk about the old daylight savings. I think you save daylight now, even though it's just the tilt of the planet. And it's 5 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon here on Wednesday. Hello from the future. So at least we're still on the same day, so that's good. Big thank you to Tony and crew for the Wi-Files, the unofficial name of the last 2 hours. I really should turn up to a meeting and say, why didn't you call it the Wi-Files? That would be good, yeah. Hello to the chat room. If you enjoyed the last 2 hours, please go to freedomslips.com and or revolution.radio and donate what you can, especially in this wonderful time of reality. Wonderful. So wonderful. And just, $5 here, $10 there. 4,000 people paid $10 all at once. That would cover us for a year. So, I mean, if the Pentagon can lose $2.3 trillion down the back of a couch, I mean, just find what's behind, in the back of your couch. Have you found Jesus? Have you lost him again? Anyway, yes. So, and once you're at the said website, pop into the chat room with lovely people. At the moment, Bo Diddley Tang has just told me the audio is good, which is handy because it's radio. It's terrible vision, but it's an audio concept. If you want to join me at the moment, we've got an empty room at the moment. It's really weird. The fear is rising. It's like, I have to talk for 2 hours. Okay. Just drop me a line on Skype. It's Monty_Dean, and I'll add you to the call, and I work better in a group as well as, there you go. Sorry. I'm a bit sort of perplexed. Is President Biden still having a stroke? Have you seen him recently? He just looks, a deer in the headlights. There's nothing there. He looks vacant. It looks like someone, it's such a bad clone. It looks like someone tried to clone Clint Eastwood and failed on every count. Maybe it's just me. There you go. A lot of things to talk about. Daylight savings, as I said, where it's just why we live in a society that's 24/7. Why do we need to move it for the cows? The cows wake up when they want to. Arizona hasn't done anything like that. They haven't tried. Yeah, see if I can. There we go. Stupid missed call. Anyway, all right, now I'm producing myself, and I have been joined by the mechanic. How are you, sir?
Not too bad, man. I run these shows as well, and I think right now a lot of things have taken place in nauseum, if you will, to the point of nauseum, where people are lost without words. Me, not the case. I tend to never be without words. I can tell you that we're in a complete self-generating nanny state where the majority of individuals have acquiesced. Go ahead.
That is true. Yeah, it's not incorrect, but because reality is a prism, there is a lot of other things. But that seems to be the strongest view at this point in time, because the rights have been removed, and was it Benjamin Franklin had that great thing? Freedom should override security, and or something like that. So if you want a security, you shouldn't really have freedom because they don't really work at the same time. We've also been joined by John.
Good afternoon, early evening, young man. I'm waiting for a laugh. Things are so convoluted. You're at least some light entertainment along the way. And I mean that in the kindest positive way.
No, that's the idea of the show, really, is to be a pressure valve, because I've been doing this since 2006, down the rabbit hole and finding everything. And then I've got to the point where there is a spiritual war. And the weird thing of winning it is not to participate and find mastery over yourself. And a lot of people are like, what? But I'll announce this. A friend of mine from Remove the Shackles .earth, Danny, she really put up this. Is it a meme? Is it pic? Anyway, as of March the 16th, 2021, the following countries have suspended or banned the use of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. And they are Ireland, the Netherlands, Iceland, Austria, Denmark, Norway, Germany, France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Bulgaria, Slovenia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania, Luxembourg, Cyprus, Indonesia, Congo, Thailand, South Africa, Sweden, and Venezuela. While the AstraZeneca WHO and the media are trying to say that it's perfectly safe, let's put this into perspective. These countries have already bought and paid for these vaccines. Do you really think they're just throwing that money away for no reason? And of course, John, this may get you a giggle. Our response, for the Australian response from the medical profession, no, it's fine. So apparently, So, most of Europe is like, you know what? We don't need these things. There seems to be something wrong. Australian in charge. Yeah, I'll be all right. Just walk it off. Like, thanks for that.
Yeah, I see that too, man. But I also see a drop in the vaccination rates.
Yeah. The
by both parties, the government saying we don't have it at the moment.
Yeah.
And others are deferring their vaccine. I won't say refusing, but deferring their vaccine.
Yeah, the rollback has slowed down due to, who knows what they say anymore. One thing that we learned in 2020 is that the government's failed.
Well, I won't go into this too deeply because I don't want to bore the world community or the worldwide listeners. But here in Victoria, how convenient is it some entity pushed Dan down the slippery stairs?
Mm-hmm.
And now he's unaccountable or unavailable for any comment on anything that happens, probably for the next 6 weeks.
Yes, it
Shortly
is.
After he brought in the power of emergency power for another 6 months.
Yeah, to December or something ridiculous like that.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, that sounds lovely. And for those playing at home who aren't aware, Dan Andrews, our fearless leader, or just leader, or the guy in charge. Anyway, he apparently slipped on some wet tiles and landed on his back and ribs, and he's out of action for 6 weeks. And I instantly thought, oh, the Prime Creator's getting some karma in, because, he kept Melbourne in lockdown for 5 months because his hotel quarantine failed. Like, yay. And so, he's out of the picture now. And he's not the only Australian. I think there's 3 or 4 other Australian politicians that are out of action as well. Which is...
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're right. Yes. Some for mental problems, disorders, because they have probably been caught out. And many other reasons. But yes, the game is certainly still going.
Yeah, it's interesting where, we've got a low death tolls. Like, okay, that's awesome. COVID deaths, if that's what they died from. But let's talk about the suicides, the drug overdoses, the mental illness that is spreading, especially with children, as well as the amount of businesses collapsing. And I'd just like to point out, this is a comedy show. I'll try and get to a joke at the end of the paragraph. Here in Australia, the government tried to help out people. Yeah, tried with a program called JobKeeper, where the government paid companies to keep workers on the books so they have a job when the pandemic's over. That's finishing in 2 weeks, as well as the unemployment benefits had the COVID supplement. That's cutting down as well. So 1.4 million people are going to go into poverty from just the unemployment benefits in 2 weeks, and it'll be interesting to see how the economy fares, where a lot of companies have been staying alive because of the JobKeeper, and they're stopping. And I haven't heard anything from the government. It's like, oh, that's fine, and it's I can see why you wanted to laugh, because if we actually look into these things, I'm like, really?
It gets a bit, saddening and heavy sometimes, and that's before we even move on to America's state and the rest of the world.
Yes. Oh, well, slightly amusing. Our Prime Minister, who isn't the head of state, the Queen is the head of state, and we talked about her last week, where unemployed actress and a veteran complained to Oprah. Millionaires were complaining about oppression, so that's a good look. Their popularity crashed after that interview as well. It's like, no, really? Yeah. But Prime Minister, there was a march for justice, because I'm referring to what I refer to as the Me Too moment of sexual misconduct in Parliament and Canberra and all. I haven't gone into it too much because it seems to be a distraction. And I figured out, talking to my parents just before, the distraction seems to be because of the vaccines are failing. However, there was a march called March for Justice because, strangely enough, some women are over being treated like utter crap. Wacky concept, but let's move on. It's like, fair enough. And, of course, there was some argy-bargy with the police, and there were scuffles. And our Prime Minister came out and said, well, at least in this country you weren't shot. Wait, like, are you so out of touch of reality? Like, even our representative to the UN is like, that's a bit worrying. And also the unfortunate the unfortunate incident of a young woman who was kidnapped and killed in London by a Metropolitan Police officer. They held a vigil for her because it was a shocking incident, and people feel for it. It's like, it's the whole thing of, are women safe in society? But the police went in and broke up the vigil because they were breaking COVID lockdown restrictions. And so it's a dark irony that a vigil for a woman that was killed by a policeman was broken up by the same organization. The police went in batons and arresting everyone else like that. So it's not a good look. As well as Prime Minister Johnson has decided to increase his nuclear bomb cache, because apparently blowing up the world 8 times is not enough. He's got to get up to 10. Someone who can speak about the Commonwealth because he's a Canadian, but he's not in Canada. He's smart enough to move to Central America and is, living the dream. The bastard. Anyway, Bruce MacDonald, how are you, sir?
Buenas noches, amigos. ¿Todo bien?
¿Qué? See, unfortunately, that's the only Spanish I know, and that just makes things worse, because ¿qué means what?
Yeah. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. It's warm here in Melbourne, and I went job hunting this morning and found a job which is probably about a 10-minute walk from here. So hopefully that clears up. Hopefully I get that, and I can be sort of financially stable without the pressures of not paying rent and being homeless. So go me.
Yeah, it's always a plus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm washing dishes, but it's the type of job where it's like I won't bring it home with me. I mean, I have my own dishwashing, but it's just wash dishes and then put it away. It's not that hard, and it's part-time.
If you put bread on the table, what does it matter?
Exactly, and I still have enough time to do everything else, but more motivation now is like, I really could be earning, like, I'm thinking global, because if I did the basic maths, if I have a product that sells at $10, I need 3,000 people across the planet to buy it, and that's me for a year as a base level. So, working on the product. But, I sort of see where Bruce comes along. Says, like, how are you dealing with COVID? When friends ask, it's COVID, it's shocking, like the mental anguish and the anxiety and all that. And it's like, well, no, actually, I'm opening another. I'm living the dream. It's kind of hard to sort of go, you know what, my life is the best ever while the rest of the world's burning.
I'm not saying that, you are.
Yes, exactly. I do not speak for Bruce. It's an observation that I have.
It's a daily trial. Living in the rainforest is a daily trial.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard.
John and I are Australian, so we totally understand where most animals want to kill you. So we understand that concept.
Yeah, it's like that.
So apart from that, anything? Have you been on the political global radar? And apparently since you're in Central America, have you seen a lot of people walking through your property? Because apparently there is a massive immigration crisis, a legal immigration crisis brewing on the U.S.-Mexican border.
Well, no. They would start north of me to begin with. I'm like the second last country in Central America. You hit Panama, then you hit Colombia, and Colombia and Panama is the border between Central and South America. So they're starting out of the, what do they call it there? The Deadly Triangle, Honduras, El Salvador, and Honduras.
Oh, okay, cool.
Guatemala, sorry.
Yeah. And of course, drunk grandma, I mean, Pelosi. Oh, what did, why not call her? Palooka or something. Anyway, drunk grandma, oh, look out, she's got a gavel, blames the immigration crisis on Trump. And it's like, who's living in her head rent-free? That guy, Mr. Orange. It's getting that ridiculous where you can see things happening like, I mean, Como. I just remembered. I stayed up late last night because Stephen Colbert had his anniversary show for the 14 days to flatten the curve. And I'm like, I had that joke 2 months ago. Damn it, I should be more popular. However, it was fascinating where they went through all the lies where Fauci changes his mind every 7 seconds. No masks, then a mask. Oh, then maybe 3 masks. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's an interesting phenomenon going on right now. I don't watch a lot of media. I don't. If I like a TV show, I download it directly, right? Whatever. If usually Cinemax or HBO or something, I watch a bit of TV up here. But I don't follow the news anymore. I don't do any of that stuff. But I mean, you got to start to notice that this is a bigger problem than anybody is talking about, man. And you got to get on the look. I keep saying this. I don't know why. I just keep saying it, but I feel the need to. There's nobody minding the store, man. The conductor had a heart attack. The train is operating itself.
Yes.
You got to take care of yourselves, man. Stop protesting. They're not listening. They're insolvent. They're bankrupt. Their institutions have collapsed. It's Moscow in 1989. Study what happened there, man. Basically, nobody tells you what's going on when the bankruptcy starts, right? Because everybody wants to jockey for position, the creditors line. So the plebe is the last to know. But how the Democrats structure this bankruptcy, this insolvency, is going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's about optics because politics is mainly about popularity. It's not actually governing. And you don't want to have a shock. You don't want to have a run on banks and all that type. I mean, if you imagine one bank having a run, like a run basically on a bank is where when everyone goes in and says, "I would like my money," it's like, yeah, but we've only got 5% in cash, so the rest of it's in digital ones and zeros. Yeah. And I recently, about a couple of days ago, I rewatched The Big Short. And it's a fascinating movie explaining of how a couple of people saw beforehand the financial crisis and they bet on it, and they made a lot of money.
Not a movie.
Oh yeah, it's
right. So your federal bankers in the U.S. are literally bailing money out. Quantum easing never really stopped from 2008. You break down this $1.9 trillion. There's no accountability for where this money is going. They're looting the store, man. They're looting the store. It's like that digital world that Monty was referring to, that digital world of money. Well, in that digital world right now, it's like Ferguson during Obama's second term. It's looting and rioting. They're just emptying it right now, man. And I would be gravely worried if I lived in the U.S., man. I would be looking to buy a farm. That's where I'm at. I appreciate the protesting and everything, but it's not going to do anything because they don't have the means to resolve anymore. They don't have a remedy. They're insolvent. I hear people on the roundtable saying everybody should get damages payment who took a vaccine or something. From who? Like where? Yeah, if the government starts paying that money out, you're just robbing your neighbor to enrich yourself, right? Yeah. They're not paying. The only thing they have to pay with is our money. They're not paying.
Made out of thin air. And so, like here in Victoria, John may be able to add to this. Like, there's been rumblings about actually having lawsuits against the government, and as we just pointed out, you don't sue the government because they represent you. It should be the actual personalities in their positions. It should be Dan Andrews, not the Victorian government, because you're suing yourself, which does not make sense. because the government will have to pay out, and then of course they'll raise taxes, which apparently Biden wants to do because of the 1.9 trillion. First time in 30 years that taxes are going up, and someone actually explained gas prices are going up faster than a Biden vote drop at 2 a.m. Like it's been 2 months, and it's nearly dropped. I'm not sure. It's nearly $2 or something a gallon, or it's just. It's completely ridiculous, and there are still people. There are people that cry when they cry from joy going to sleep, knowing that Donald Trump's not president. Meanwhile, everything around them is on fire and burning down. You also have the George Floyd trial that's happening as well. And it's such a powder cake. But the interesting thing is, and Brucey knows what I'm talking about because
trials at theater. Let's call it for what it is.
Oh yeah.
People are going to get Emmy awards out of this. Go ahead.
Especially George Floyd actually died from a heart attack because it was on fentanyl. Now that doesn't mean having a guy put a knee on his death. Oh, he had a cold, so yeah. But it's like even if
in his system.
Yeah, but the guy that had the knee on his back, that he still needs to be sorted out. And I don't mean like mafia style. Hey, I'll take care of him, because that's not the right thing to do. But he was. Can you imagine if George Floyd didn't get seen by those 4 cops, just went home and died of a heart attack at home? We wouldn't know about it.
Okay, well, look, the coffee. What do the signs say behind the officer? So, the actor with the badge and the actor on the ground. Right behind, over the shoulder of the actor with the badge, right, you have a sign at the gas station that says, coffee, 99 cents. Well, what does coffee do? It wakes you up, right? 99 in gematria is racism. Wake up to racism.
Yeah. And like the amount of Asian beatings now, like them in bunny ears always need an enemy, and it looks like a lot of black assailants are attacking Asian students because.
Really?
Well, there has been a lot of attacks on Asian people in the United States.
Really? I have not heard.
No, this is a news, Bruce. That I'm here. And I can tell you right now, it's just a narrative. Yeah. It's not the reality. It's not the reality. It's just
of course. Yeah.
Just a mainstream news story. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so trustworthy, and it's like, I mean, the level of stupidity that we're in. I'll give you an example.
It is laughable, Monty. It really is.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's
living in right now.
I'm glad you came on so you can laugh about it. We've gone through tragedy. It's gone into like dark comedy. It's that just like really.
It's across delirium, right? That's what they consider it, delirium.
Yeah.
Delirium is an evil sense of humor, right? Deliriousness has a tendency to be evil, right?
Yeah, it's even gone past like gallows humor. It's just gone really. The level of stupidity of the outrage mob. Bill Burr made a reference to feminists who would be complaining about him at the Grammy Awards, presenting the Latino Grammy. And he got dogpiled on Twitter where, he's a racist and blah, blah, blah.
He couldn't pronounce her name right. He couldn't pronounce her name right.
Yeah, he's not funny. He's a racist.
Yeah. He's married to a black chick.
He's married to a beautiful black woman, and I think at least got a daughter.
What are we talking about here?
Bill Burr, the comedian.
Stand-up comedian, Irish guy. He's from Boston.
He's in The Mandalorian. He's the one that shoots the.
I know who Bill Burr is. I saw him lie down on a big pile of money in Breaking Bad. Plus, I'm pretty up on comedy, Monty. I know who Bill Burr is. Stand-up. Plus, I subscribe to his podcast, the Monday podcast.
I think he's a freak. Honestly, the guy wears a mask like it does something. He talks about mask enforcement all the time. He's trying to tell his fan base to wear a mask. This guy's a goof. He is. He's on one end. I agree with him because he's trying to be canceled right now. They're trying to cancel the guy, which is an attestament to what Monty's saying right now. But this guy's a goof in my book. I understand he's being canceled for telling the truth.
Yeah, well, he just made
either way, he still supports the narrative that there's actually something out there, and by wearing a mask, you can avoid it. Honestly, garbage. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You kind of said it. Whatever. Okay, now, but
Let's get some comedy in here, Monty. Come on.
Well, it
Yeah,
was like,
it's comedy hour. And Monty, I've been down the last few days, so I re-looked at an old classic Australian comedian, which I'm sure you'd know, Norman Gunston.
oh, Norman's a god.
Dude, I had a look. I haven't seen him for years, and oh my God. His interview with Gunston Roses, he calls them.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's a classic.
Yeah, anyone outside of Australia, if you want to see some pure Australian comedy, Norman Gunston, he was like in the 70s and 80s, and he would
Well, he was the bleeder.
Yeah, because he kept cutting himself shaving, and that was the part of the shtick that Gary MacDonald created this character.
Give us a sample. Find a clip. Play it.
I'm not sure if I tried to play a clip once, and my system didn't like it.
Why tell us when you can show us?
Well, that is true. I'll have to figure it. I'll try and remember something.
The problem is it may not be as funny to you guys because it's very much colloquially Australian.
Yeah, it's very Australian. It's very Aussie.
But to see this guy, just give you a picture, skinny man in his mid-40s, balding head with the comb over, but only greased comb over, more skull than hair.
Yeah.
He shaves using a razor and cuts himself regularly on the face, so he uses the old toilet paper thing, and he doesn't take them off. He leaves them there all day.
Yeah, I think he interviewed Muhammad Ali, and I can't remember what he said, but
didn't he call him boy?
No, that was Bert Newton.
That was Bert Newton, yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't mean it in the American. He was just pointing out that, he's a male. I like the boy. It wasn't the American version of boy.
I'm with you. It shows how the cultural difference and the ethnic part of it creates different understandings.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is Muhammad knew exactly what was going on, and everyone else was offended for him because Muhammad Ali you don't insult Muhammad Ali. It's fascinating. Oh, bloody Muslims! It's like Muhammad Ali's a Muslim. Say anything to him, and it's controversial. I think he's a better boxer now because he's got Parkinson's. You'll never see it coming. We've been joined by Cortek as well. I should add Cortek. You're there. Yes, no, fumbling for the mute button. Well, he's in chat, which doesn't really work for audio.
Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, Cortex.
Time is money. Time is money.
So, we're getting to the point where it's all about narratives, and it's very hard to try and battle narratives because people hate Donald Trump. Like, fair enough,
People
that's your
guilt
choice.
Trips. It's bigger than narratives. People are on guilt trips, bro. People are walking around carrying this massive burden, literally a pimple on the face. And, you get a cat like me going around with this very sharp needle, just deflating that ego, just popping the virtue signal bubble taking place in society right now. A lion amongst sheep, the only dude in a 200-person packed Vons in the middle of a high-end resort town, everybody wearing a mask but me. It is quite the joke. It's quite the joke. I'm a peon. I'm a nobody, a nothing. I see full-grown alpha males wearing 2 diapers. Go yourself. Come on. Get a grip.
Yeah, well, I'm into free will, but it's the pushing of the narrative, and so like here in Victoria, it's interesting. I have no idea what the level of mask. The supermarkets still have it because it's all about optics, but outside, like we're supposed to wear it on public transport, and 80% aren't people. We're over it, especially in Melbourne, Victoria, where we're locked down for 5 months, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Now, the only way that COVID will come back, according to their science. Is if a foreigner, if someone from outside of Australia comes in, that's the only way that we'll have the infection again. Come on. Well, yeah, if it's been contained and it's died out, and we open up to international flights again, that's the only way it will come in, and that can cause a lockdown. I'm going with their thinking. I mean, obviously,
exactly.
I should preface that this is not me. I'm walking in their world. And
don't kill the messenger, right?
Yeah, it's like, I'm in 365 million colors, and they're in 4 colors. There's a lot of gray in here.
There are world leaders getting hurt all over the place, and you're part of that club right now where you have a what's his official title? He's the prime minister or the
our premier, who's the leader of the state of Victoria,
broke his back.
Chairman Danism and the new communist.
Danny, who broke his back? Who's the guy who fell and broke his back?
That's
Dan
the
Andrews.
one mechanic. Yep, that's the
Dan
one.
Andrews, right?
Yeah.
Total goof. That guy might be wearing a sports bra and a dress to bed at night. Who knows?
That reminds me of someone shared some text in interactions like, do you have boobs? Yes, I do. What size are they? B cup. Are they really nice? Not really. Why? I don't like them. Why not? I'm male.
Yeah. Drum roll, please.
Hey.
It's a tough one inside of Australia right now. But if you take a look at the commonality around the world, here in America, we've had some of this taking place. Does anybody remember a narrative or a story that was going on? It was, I think it maybe 18 to maybe 2 years ago, where high-level officials like governors, prime ministers, presidents were getting black eyes.
Yeah, the black eyes and the moon.
I saw
boots
Chuck Connolly with a black eye.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Merkel had a black eye.
it's weird. Like, yeah, and
Is that adrenochrome?
oh, there's Cortek.
Sorry. I wasn't plugged in.
Yeah.
Classic. Have you turned it on?
Act like you've been here before.
Yeah, sorry.
But that is so weird, and no one brings it up in the mainstream media. It's like, oh, they've got a black eye. Does everyone walk into the same door? Like, it's
Too much of a pattern, isn't it?
Yeah, well, also, I mean, there's a conspiracy. It's like, yeah, I can see these idiots getting together. Oh, just punch yourself in the eye, or just make the conspiracy theorists nuts, which is still technically a conspiracy. It's like the whole thing about, oh, aliens don't exist. So you're telling me all the photographic evidence, the experiences, the contactees, the abductees, the radar reports, the 30 ancient civilization that referred to sky gods, all of that is faked. That sounds like a conspiracy to me.
I saw something that someone was saying Australia was completely fake. It was a psyop.
Yeah, that reminds me, Cortek and John, we need to contact NASA and get our paychecks.
Dude, I saw that probably about 3 years ago when that thing raised its ugly head. Well, good luck to the rest of the world. We're through most of this bullshit. Okay, any guy here can report on a new group called the Quad. The Quad.
The Quad.
Quad. Oh, sorry, my false teeth are slipping.
No, that's all right.
I'll reset. Called the Quad.
No.
There was a meeting a few days ago to set up this group. It is Australia, Japan, India, and the USA.
Interesting. My mum told me very quickly. My mum told me just about an hour ago that apparently Joe Biden said to China, "Leave Australia alone," and we're like, "That's out of character." So I haven't.
Was he just trying to be controversial so someone would call him back?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's still. I started the show. He still looks like he's having a stroke. So he
seems slower.
Yeah. The clones aren't. The quality of clones going, but the quite. It's interesting. We keep hearing about all these connections, and we don't know exactly 100% what's happening in these closed doors, because their reality is just completely mind blowing. Because they're either all in on it or they're all idiots. Now I'm leaning towards idiots because they're all being duped.
Okay, here's what happens behind closed doors. In case you haven't seen it or yourself or been filled in on it, Monty, here's how it goes down. You got a naked broad chained up by the neck in the middle of a floor of a darkly lit room, being, analyzed and bid on a regular basis. That's what's going on behind closed doors. You think they're considering our well-being for a second? That's delusional talk. These types of things are no longer conspiracy.
Yes, there are the lizard wizards out there, and I just like saying lizard wizards. But I think that it's just a small group of people, and they've duped everyone else that they think they're doing the right thing, and they're not, because you can just see the chaos where we're teetering on controlled chaos and natural chaos.
Order through chaos, man. It's on the apron, bro.
Yeah, but the chaos that they want is usually planned, and they've got solutions. And I think it's gone into natural chaos where the solutions won't work and they've lost control of it.
No one's listening to their broadcasting network.
Basically, yeah, because it's like, I mean, I've stopped watching Dan Andrews do his daily.
That's a
daily press conferences, because his voice is so grating, and I want to throw things at my very expensive TV, but I don't, because I don't want to pay for another one.
That's a female, probably the sister of the New Zealand Prime Minister. They look a little bit alike. If you threw the same wig on, a little bit of makeup, I bet you could create a little bit of, little bit.
You seen that picture with Merkel and those other two European leaders when they were teenagers? That shit goes on, they're groomed.
Well, take a look at Canada. Take a look at this Trudeau dude, right? Who does he look like?
Yeah,
His
Bruce
dad.
has laid that down. He's dead.
Yeah, and his dad used to run Cuba. It's just scary. You put them right next to each other. I mean, if you draw,
he's got the beard going on.
Yeah,
it is legit. That is, bro. It's Crowley and Barbara Bush. I'm telling you, it's right up there.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And Merkel.
Go
ahead, Bruce.
People think this stuff is a joke. It's literal. It's literal. It's just hard to keep saying this over and over for like years, and people still don't get it. It's literal. Absolutely. That is Fidel Castro's kid. Man, my dad was making jokes about this at the dinner table in the mid-'70s. He was working in the Canadian State Department as an economist. Like, it was an inside joke in Ottawa, man. She was fucking everybody. Sorry about the language.
She was making love to certain people.
No, she was a loosey-goosey. She was a 22-year-old bipolar girl who married a 57-year-old. She made
Kamala Harris look like Mary Poppins. Come on.
Poor Mary.
Yeah. Well, it was the 70s.
Tonight's show is brought to you by the Kamala Harris knee pads. When you need to get when you need to get ahead in life. Just there you go. And also SJ's Ninja Dojo for squirrels. Let your rodent defend you. So get the sponsors out of the way.
Show.
Yeah,
if you want to have some fun,
time altogether. Different time altogether.
Yeah, Quaaludes, a lot of drugs.
Oh yeah.
If you want to have some fun, get a picture of Merkel and draw in a very small mustache under her nose. It's amazing who she looks like.
Oh yeah, that I heard that one years ago too. That she's the grandchild.
Oh, grandchild, yeah.
Oh, dude. I mean, look, gene work is one of the big secret sciences back there. Okay, a little bit's been given to humans, but gene work is one of the big things in the background. It's huge. Like. And whether they're kids or Justin Trudeau was naturally created by Margaret Trudeau and Fidel Castro. He's not, but some of these things, like some of this European stuff, I think it's like pure test tube cloning and stuff. Like they've got it down to a science, right? It's paired cloning, just like you would pair a man and a woman, but they literally create people.
There was a story. This is
not funny. Not a funny roundtable at all. I'm not making myself laugh at all, Monty.
No, step it up, Bruce.
I'm playing the long game. There's going to be a really good punchline at the end of 2 hours. There was a story of after Darwin theory, which apparently even Darwin's gone, no, that's not what I meant. Stop that. 3 different families, like I think there were the Huxleys and 2 others. They took it to heart, and so they interbred they're 3 families only, and by the 3rd generations there was deformities and everything else like that. It's like, yeah, you have to leave the gene pool. If you want a better example of that, just look at the royal families of Europe, where I mean, Prince Charles, when he was in the Navy, he was actually a radar dish because of his ears. And that's why Princess Diana was brought in to improve the DNA, as well as
Monty. Can you just give a couple seconds between jokes so we can get into it?
A little slower in the wind up. All right.
It's like you don't believe it yourself. It's like you don't believe you're going to make us laugh.
Oh, so you're new to the show, are you?
You gotta believe, Monty.
Who's running the show right here?
See, that's the problem.
Give him a chance to get to the punchline.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, there's that as well. But that's the thing about life.
Punchline's coming in an hour 20.
Virus isn't funny, Monty. That's where you're going.
Oh, well, see, my problem is I'm used to a live audience, so then there's delay on Skype.
Training.
See? Now I got that because you went silent for a second and a half.
Yeah, that's the 2021. Nothing works.
It's like 2021. Everything's broken.
It's like a poker face. You just got to let the joke hang out there. It may take a second and a half to click in people's
Bruce,
heads.
I already know what your problem is, but it might be his problem as well. Monty, are you short of cannabis right now?
Well, I haven't smoked for 5 years, so yes.
Oh, see, things are starting to add up.
I can't afford it.
Yeah.
Not on these prices.
Let me tell you about a little plant I grew behind my chicken coop.
Oh man, Bruce, you're
I don't know what it was. It was a local mountain seed. It wasn't any of this San Jose hydroponic. It was just a locally grown thing. I forgot I planted it there. And I went back, and it had grown about, 36 inches maybe, 3 feet, a meter. And it had about 6 or 7 buds on it, but they weren't tight. It was a really loose weed. I wasn't sure what to do with it. So I just picked it. I put it in a shopping bag, and I let it dry for 2 weeks. And then I just sheared it all off, and then I rolled this thing that was like a drumstick because I didn't think I was going to get high off this stuff.
Where'd you get a paper that big?
And I'm telling you, man, I make it out of cigars.
You're right.
Thank you. Thank you for asking, Cortek. That's an excellent question. And I'm telling you, man, it was like I drank like a half a jar of that Rick Simpson oil. I mean, I was looped for like 6 hours. It was like mushrooms. And I grew this stuff. And I didn't even think I would get high.
What did you do? What did you do with your time? Did you get creative, or what did you do?
He saw through time. That's what he did.
I had to sit down for a while, actually, and watch some Netflix and level off. Had a couple of coffees.
Netflix. Oh, great choice, yeah. Netflix, by the way.
But
congratulations.
I grew this myself, is the point, right? I grew it myself. I start them out as little seedlings on my countertop. And when they get to about 6 inches, I put them in the ground, and I wish them luck, and about one every 5 makes it.
I'd just like to point out for the dear listener, we are not medical professionals. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
It's seriously a beautiful thing, taking something from a seed to eating it.
Is. Oh, dude, growing stuff is amazing, man. I'm telling you, growing stuff is amazing. It's what we're supposed to be doing.
You just got to be well prepared for when you have far too many of what you need, what you do then, Because even a couple of tomato plants can very quickly, if you're taking care of them, provide more than you need. So are you going to make the, like what Mike used to talk a lot about? You're going to can things. Are you going to? What are you going to do with the excess? Just so
I think I remember Bruce telling a story of like I planted some banana plants, and I actually
you mean yellow dicks?
Yeah, tree dicks? Yellow tree dicks. Yeah, thank you. And he has the tonnage of a small of Hawaii, where I have way too much food now, because he's got the space and he can grow stuff. It's like, anyone wants some tomatoes? I have 3 tons of them.
Maybe that's what happens in Samoa. There's really good gardeners.
Monty, why doesn't he take him to a farmer's market?
Yeah, because I don't grow in that volume. Like I'm growing.
Bruce, I know you. I was thinking Monty's talking about, tonnage. Big tonnage.
everybody sells. Okay, so the way it goes up here is you don't actually have to grow a lot because my banana trees aren't flowering now. The horses ruined them. I lost like $200 on that planting 2 years ago. But I now have a fence, don't worry. But everybody grows stuff up here and they walk the streets with they walk the dirt road. Your neighbors come by and I get stuff for about 25 cents on the dollar for what a grocery store would charge. Right? All my fruit, my bananas, peppers, everything. It's amazing. And then I grow a lot of peppers. I have 4 oregano plants. I put oregano in everything. Every omelet gets sprinkled with fresh oregano. A lot of tomatoes. A lot of tomatoes.
Coffee. Yogurt.
Yeah. And then what we're going to do now
You don't grow processed coffee.
No, he puts oregano in the coffee and the yogurt. That's the joke.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know, that's why it's funny.
Oregano in the coffee?
No, it's a joke. God.
I have enough oregano now that I could probably press in oil if I bought a manual press. Yeah.
Look, dude, oil of oregano is no joke.
I know. So I want to get into some health products up here too. There's 1,000,001 things to go. Look, my message to all you guys. I don't know you, but I love you, man. We know each other in a way, right?
Oh, buddy.
Everything is going back to the beginning. The city's falling, the garden is coming back. There it is in a nutshell. Get to the garden before you're priced out of the market by the serpent.
Yeah, it's getting to the point like with rent. It's cheaper to probably buy a house. And pay the monthly installments to the banks cheaper than rent. It's like, this is going well.
Mm-hmm.
And of course the government's, the economy's booming. Like, oh, shut up. I still amazed that our Prime Minister said, lucky that the women protesters weren't shot. What frame of mind were you in when you said that?
Did he really? He didn't really say that.
Yeah,
that was a chaser. That was a chaser.
No,
that was a chaser parody, wasn't it?
No, it was actually. That's what the Prime Minister said.
A powerful drug.
Actually said that.
He actually said that, and that goes back to it's very hard to do satire and parody because we don't know what's real or not. I have to keep telling, like with Titiana McGrath, people share some of her stuff. Like I shared one, will people stop picking on oppressed millionaires? And people think it's true. So I've been basically commenting after all these posts, it's a parody account, a really good one. And they laugh and they move on. So you have to do a warning sometimes with Miss McGrath because it's Andrew Doyle and he's very funny.
I loved it when the Onion first came out and people didn't know about news parodies back then,
Yeah, and Ted Cruz shared the Babylon Bee, and some idiot in the media decided to have a go at him. It's like, he knows it's parody. That's the irony of him sharing it, you twang.
I've got one ready. How do you find Will Smith in the snow? You look for the Fresh Prince.
Hey.
That's fucking terrible.
Hey, language.
That's racist.
No, that's our two. All right, now any more we go from PG every time. Go ahead, Bruce.
Well, I realize your relationship with Blackie is a little different over there in Australia, but we don't talk that way, Cortek, in North America.
What do you say? Not so fresh? How do you term it?
Hey, Bruce, what do you mean, we people?
What do you mean, we people?
I'm a dude playing another dude who's playing another dude. Anyway, here's a dude from Northern California. Please welcome the Viking.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, good.
Viking.
Trying to be funny. So, see, that's the long form joke. I'm trying to be funny, which is funny. Look, just think SNL. Don't. You're all depressed now. Like, oh, really? Is that show still going? Anyway, Viking, what would you like to add?
So I was hearing I've been listening to the show here, trying to figure out how to segue in, and I'm an avid canner. Yes, I grow up what's called a truck farm, and I think my pantry's got about 1,100 jars. And you're right, I can't eat all my food, but I cannot stop canning.
It's an addiction.
It is an addiction, but I have plenty of stuff to share. I visit somebody, I bring over a case of canned goods, and I got 2 Excalibur commercial dryers. So I've been drying and making
somebody
fruit roll.
Somebody called that Hoarders TV show. We got their Christmas special right here.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with having an addiction and hoarding food, and especially when you give it away.
He's ahead of everybody. He's one of the smartest guys at this radio station.
It's called Ubuntu, and I also make what's really exciting is I make my own chili powder now. It's kind of fun. And
how do you do that? I have surplus chilies that I need to do something with.
I roast my chilies in the oven until they start to blacken, and then you basically take off the top and you dry them, until they're dry, and then I throw them in a blender and I sift it, and they have what's called the powder, and then I have crumbles. The powder I use, and the crumbles go on soups and stews and whatnot. So it's pretty
right. Powder sounds like a good thing to make. I would.
Well done.
I'm not a big fan of chili. I rather taste my food than feel it.
Chili.
I know it's. I'm not
feeling food is the.
Do not base your diet on me.
Okay.
And I got chickens. I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be raising chickens this year for meat. And it's just really it's a false security, but it's a good one. Where I just feel. I've had this for some reason. I going into fall, I've always had this need to fill a larder. I don't know how it goes back to lifetimes, but I just always have this insecurity unless I have a full larder.
Maybe you're one of the squirrels in SJ's front yard.
What I find interesting.
SJ, call in. Go ahead.
The best way to explain that is basically we're all going through the apocalypse, but with Bruce and Viking, there's catering. So
exactly. I like it. You guys are living the dream. I think that's such a good thing. I think
Yeah, but I'm the other side where I'm an entertainer, where it's like, there's enough of us. 3 of you be farmers, and I'll write music.
You're the bard of the kingdom, right?
Yeah, the jester, where you got to walk a fine line where you can insult the king when he doesn't feel insulted, and I won't get hung.
We're drawn and quartered.
Yeah, those fun things.
So today I put in 200 strawberry plants, and I got my onions, and my potatoes are in, and lettuce, and a lot of spring garden. It's fun. I mean, it's my therapy.
Yeah, and also I just had a thought there with the United States. I would start growing your own food, because if you look at, I think like Fruit Loops as an example, you look what the ingredients are for Fruit Loops in the United States compared to Australia, and there's 60 different ingredients.
Do they all have numbers after them?
Yeah, there's all this weird added stuff where I would love to go to America, but I don't know if I'll eat anything.
There's an organic section in almost in every store. At least in California. I'm not sure about Kansas, but
yeah. Well, California, that makes sense.
Why is the cheese so orange?
That's a dye.
Yeah, because someone in America thought the English language is perfect, so I'll change it. There's an element. That's the thing about the United States. Everything could happen.
It's like your butter is orange as well, or yellow, which is not a natural thing.
No, it's like a bad green. Oh, no, that's bad green, yeah.
So I think we're going to get rid of therapy and just start prescribing drugs now, by the way. I think therapy is going to go by the wayside, and everything will be under the normal medical industry, the medical field, and it'll just be a prescription-based solution process. There'll be no more therapy.
I think you're onto something. I think your ability to foreshadow the coming economy is uncanny. You can't think cynically enough. If you just get every stitch of optimism out of your thinking, and you'll be as close to accurate as you could possibly.
No problem. I go to Monty for my therapy sessions.
Yeah, this is why he's doing so well. We'll call it Soma, and just read Brave New World, which I find interesting. Your Brave New World and 1984.
The cartoon. It's beautiful.
In Brave New World, everyone gets really high and it has orgies, and in 1984 they outlawed the orgasm. So I wonder if that's going to be the battle of the narratives.
That? They didn't never really found out what Soma was, did they? Gordon Wasson thought it was.
You you can't have, we're not allowed to describe sexual positions here, but
Go on.
you aren't allowed to do anything other than
Missionary.
Wow, that just got real technical real quick. You're not allowed to do anything other than missionary in some states. Actually,
Name five other positions in 30 seconds. Go.
No. We're coming up to the break. Great time, a bit of synchronicity, yes. And also, of course, I know all about this. I'm a loner hermit comedian that
you
lives
can't break it, by the way, folks. You can't break it.
It's like, oh, maybe should we spoon this week? I don't know. The government's watching. All those people that have televisions in your bedrooms, don't. Just putting it out because, Samsung, in Russia, Samsung watches you. You are listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. This is Studio A. This is Planet Collingwood. I think we're getting the comedy quota up, so we'll be back after these messages and we'll have a couple of yucks and a laughs.
Revolution Radio, freedom.
And I think we're back, hopefully. So that was just really odd.
I could hear you the whole time, Monty.
Yeah, but the thing is that the
Did you
server.
know you could never lose a homing pigeon? If your homing pigeon doesn't come back, what you've lost is a pigeon.
Yeah, but the thing is with a homing pigeon, I've made so much money by selling the same bird 8 times.
That's the joke of the night. That's the joke of the night right there.
That reminds me, I have to buy a 3D printer, print a 3D printer, and then return the original 3D printer.
Nice. They got those. They can cut metal these days. Laser. Metal things and
we are being heard. So, welcome back to Revolution Radio on Studio A. Just some technical difficulties. Bruce tried to call in, and the server said, "No, not today, my friend." And so we went past that glitch. And you'll have to listen to the replay where we told everyone our bank accounts and basically doxed ourselves.
Remember to tell them that
mine's available for deposit only.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Big slut.
That's the title of the next sex tape.
Oh, in these economic times. Oh, that's right. Mechanic has an OnlyFans website starting up as well. So there you go. No, of course not. So if you enjoyed the last hour of our hilarious comedy, please donate to the station so the rest of the station can continue on while we try and figure out why this show exists. I know why, but I just wanted to give you some homework. Now, I would also like to say, for those who didn't know that the United States did their time-traveling, clock-changing crap, hello. You've missed half a show. So, and the interesting thing is that Australia is doing its time travel on the 4th of April, which means it will go from 5 p.m. to 4 p.m. because apparently the cows need to wake up early or some crap.
Not bloody Queensland, they don't.
Oh, no, they don't.
This is more garbage.
All
of it. Why do we buy this?
I don't know.
We're in like a forever old squat meet where there's just never anything new.
Yeah, why? You want your crab? No? Do you have anything else? I've got more crab. I'll take the original crap then. Also, I'd like to quickly say happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone that's Irish. Everyone else, you're cultural appropriating, and stop that, you racist bastards. Because someone actually shared on
green. Touch me and I kill you.
Yeah, I'm part Scottish and I'm not Irish. I'm Scottish, Welsh, Polish, and English. And the English were invaded, 8 times in 1,000 years? So who knows what the hell I am? I just like saying Australian. So, it's cultural appropriation because, the Irish have had it so good and they've never been put into slavery oppressed or anything else like that. So, see, that's the interesting thing, you white people, what about, slavery and oppression? What about the Irish? What? Yeah, twits. So there you go. Right.
I, for one, like Roman numerals.
Say 47. Say 47 in Roman numerals.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
broke my brain.
Yeah. X, 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 I, X, V, I. Just say 48. Anyway.
No, it's 4x in Roman numeral 7. What are you talking about?
No, but because it's a 4, there's actually it's I think 50's a D. See, now, this is a pointless conversation. I don't know why we keep
50 is
bringing
the
it up.
L, right?
Oh yeah,
50
L.
goes
So
to L.
yeah, so it'd be XL, because like 9 is IX. It's the one before. It's,
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that.
Sweet Jesus.
Yep. This is they had a 900 years 900
this?
years civilization. Roman.
Solving the world's problems.
I've got
Look,
one
just
for,
participate, all right? Just
I got-
participate.
I got one for you, Bruce. I took the shell off my racing snail thinking it would make him faster. If anything, it made him a bit more sluggish.
It's come to this. It's come. When it's a door, not a door. When it's a jar. Oh,
That's
all
good
right.
shtick. He's good.
Yeah,
He's good.
we're at that. Yeah, it's
Move
the
him
end
up.
of times where the old jokes work.
Move him up. Move him up to middle, Monty. Move him up to middle.
Yeah, Cortek, you want a tight 15? You could probably get a couple of beers out of it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I won't go into it. We bore everyone. Why are they talking about the mechanics of running a stand-up comedy night? Because I know that. Mind you, in Australia, there's not enough rooms to actually make a living, so I could probably go to England, and that doesn't seem to be very appealing at the moment.
No,
I
why
stand
would
up
you
for a
want
lot
to?
of my shows.
I said I'd get into comedy, and they laughed at me.
I came up with a new word yesterday. Plagiarism.
Is that like theft?
It's like when you're little and you think that you've totally invented the double knot when you tie a bow in your shoes, and then you find out that it's already been done.
Yeah, 800 years earlier,
Yeah.
or 1,000 years earlier. That's in mainstream history. I mean, in the actual history, humans could have been on the planet for 50 million years, but that will ruin religion.
We could have had
Raises the
laser
curious-
laces. Sorry, Bruce.
Hey, that's all right, Cortek. That was a good line, lasers. When did we go from buckles to laces, anyways? Does anybody know the century?
I'd like to know.
1800.
Yeah,
It's probably during a
morbidly
war.
curious now.
It's probably
It
during
was
a
laces
war period
first,
where they
and then
needed
buckles.
they needed the steel for cannons or something like that.
There's a war on. Tie your shoes.
Tighten
Learn
your
to-
belts. Give us your laces.
Knots, people. None of this buckles. I just find it fascinating where they didn't really cut their hair, but all these elites would wear white wigs and then go to somewhere like Jamaica and wonder why they're sweating to death.
Yeah. It's a good one, Monty. Keep working.
Yeah. I've got to feed my cat. To misquote a Star Wars character, I'm just a man and a cat making my way through the universe.
There was actually a party in the United States called the Whigs.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
about
that's true.
Yeah, it's a true story.
And here's some pointless question. What is that? What is those things at the end of a shoelace?
Oh, that little hard plastic that wraps around the tip of it.
Yeah, there's a name, and the only reason you know it is so you can win at Jeopardy.
It's like the last. I think it starts with an L. It's like I've actually been told this answer.
Yeah, exactly. It won't save your life, but it feels.
It's like a
effortless.
lancel or something. It's
A lanyard or lancet or something. Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway.
it's something along that line. I think.
It's an aglet.
Cortek,
Aglet.
Yeah. Anyway, if you want to get back.
Aglet.
Cortek
They used to make them out of
used-
metal, out of copper, actually.
Yeah, that's before the wars.
I'm just wondering, should we start talking about the New World Order, or should we keep talking about fashion? If you want to talk about stupidity, have you seen what men's fashion is today? I love those.
You could segue with what's his name's Saturnalia getup.
Yeah.
What's his name's? The pointy shoulders.
Anal Schwab, Carl Schwab.
Schwab. That's that guy.
Anal swab.
Yeah.
You will earn nothing, and you'll enjoy it. It's like that. That sounds like a threat. I like that. The Great Reset. Yeah, you'll earn nothing, and you'll be happy.
China is testing tourists And if you refuse the swab, if they think that you need to take the swab, they'll throw you out. They won't let you in. I'm telling you right now, this is real. This isn't even fiction. I don't even know why I'm laughing right now.
Because it's that ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what type of business model. Oh, to get the tourists, we'll get them to strip down, and stranger will put something in their palm.
In the swab, you just under.
Don't give him the regular swab.
Get the pineapple swab. That really cleans them out.
Extended swab.
Make him walk out here like crap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Your first anal swab came back as double negative. We have to do it again.
Corrosive. That is so racist. This is just getting racist.
So we have to attack China somehow because, all that greenhouse effect and climate change. It's like, have you noticed all these people pick on the West? Yeah. What about China that creates a third of their deadly gas? CO2 is terrible for the environment. Yeah, that's why all the trees are here.
They had a really, really bad pollution day recently, I saw.
Well, yeah, they do because they suck. That's my political statement on the Chinese government. They suck. Also, I heard there is a theory that the plants are trying to take over as the world because they use us as pets. They use us to feed off us for CO2. They give us oxygen. We give them CO2. We got to
get rid of cows too. Same thing.
Yeah, and when we die, we go into the earth and they feed from us that way. So, plants, got to be careful.
Are you saying that it's probably just safest to just kill all plant life right now?
Those just parasites. In case? They call those parasites. They consider us a parasite. All right, let's just be real about it, right? Yep. We're gone. We're less than human. All we do is eat up resources. This is how the elite and the cabal see us.
Yeah, so we've got a very long lifespan.
Yeah, so,
compared to a mycelial network.
Well, as long as Cortek's done. He's been right on the money with his jokes tonight.
Sorry.
Sorry that you're doing well. You're not good at this comedy thing, are you?
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. I just can't get my timing.
We have a genetic predisposition for diarrhea. It runs in our genes.
But if you don't wear jeans, what do you like?
Anyway, Monty, I actually needed the extra half second there, Monty. You ruined it for me.
Welcome to Planet Collingwood. Planet Collingwood. The goal is to try and find comedy, but we all interrupt each other's stand. Yeah, schmozzle. I like that word. That's 100 years old.
I like schmozzle.
If I was in North America now, if I was in the United States of America now, and I was in a group of people that had a knowledge pool like Rev Radio, I would be looking to form groups that talk to the legal people like Mike Gaddy and LB Bork. And rather than waiting to react with this lawful technology they've developed, why don't you just make an action? Why don't you make a land claim on a piece of federal property that has been unused for any habitation for over 50 years? And make a claim as a natural man and say, I'm taking this land and take him to court. That's what I would be doing now. That's the stage of the war you should be at now, because this is all going to come down.
You'll have no legal standing and they won't even hear you in court.
Yeah, we're dealing with a corrupt system.
Bruce, does that apply to U.S. bases on overseas countries?
Yeah, Cortek. Yeah, nice idea.
I'd love to visit, Moon Rock in the middle of Australia or whatever.
Cortek and I are actually going to Pine Gap. And it's like, you're not using this land, are you?
There's no one bloody here.
Yeah, well, the BLM does it. What we're going to do, right, is open Midnight Oil Land, and it's a theme park, and it's all about the band Midnight Oil.
Oh, yeah, God.
That could be a... Please don't.
You're already bankrupt. File your paperwork right now.
That could be a section. We can make a section. That can be like a corner of the park. I heard there's little, I heard the basement's got a nice little, opening for testing vehicles out into the nearest, out in Little Gully and then up. People have noticed funny things going on there. We could have a little look around.
Yeah, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
I have a solution for a lot of the problems, gentlemen, if you will.
Yeah.
I think that a global, number one, just lack of participation. We need to stop participating in all of this. But I do believe that if we start to do a collaborative circumstantial investigation into all the drugs on the planet known to man, right? Whether it be a natural, something derived, or put together by chemicals alone, even if it's a mixture of prophylactics like hydrochloroquine and these types of things. We go through and we sift through all of these things, right? We come up with the good and the bad and the negative. We produce a pamphlet about each one of them, and they're legalized across the board.
You're going to need something bigger than a pamphlet.
Well, obviously. But this is legalized across the board, across the entire globe, where now we have a
I used to have a book.
planet
I used to have a book like that.
Well, they will voluntarily take place or part in their own depopulation because people will overuse in abundance. It'll be a system of biodiversity, and it will typically be the idiots of the world anyways. Of course, there's going to be casualties of these types of things.
This is the most progressive policy I've heard on Rev Radio about how to deal with the situation we're in now. I would call this progressive suggestive euthanasia. I like it.
I think it's very fitting to the times. We have surrounded ourselves with blatant. I'm not talking about this contextual, below the surface idiot who's just a little soft and naive. I'm talking about blatant stupidity.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put forward an idea of we help Elon Musk get spaceships to Mars, and we put the elite on them so they can have a dead soulless rock for a planet, and the rest of us will enjoy it. If you ever
can't even get out of orbit, and they've lost the technology to get back to the moon, and here you are. Well, it makes sense. You're a comedian talking about getting back to Mars. Congratulations, your first joke of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like having you on. You make me feel much better. Yeah. What I find funny is when Elon Musk lands on Mars, and the first thing is the aliens are going, "What the hell are you doing here? Get off my lawn." Or it'll be Darth Cheney telling them.
Park next to the hotline. Park next to the corner.
Oh, we've got a nice bit of echo going. Hey! Oh, there we go.
You got bad radio.
Oh, it sounds like I'm on AM, FM. Oh, AM. Yeah. I need a crystal.
That was terrible.
Cannon, some shoestring.
I'm still just reminding me from last week where the TV repairman was the savior of society for most of the 20th century.
I tried to catch fog yesterday. Missed.
Oh. You do research for this show, don't you?
That was terrible.
How many hours?
14, 15.
Holy.
It's a hobby. Yeah, he goes to a website called I Can't Believe It's Not Punny.
Yeah. You know what they say about cliffhangers?
Is it the same as keeping your drip under pressure?
No, that's it. You say nothing.
Then yes.
Bruce, did we keep losing Bruce?
Oh, what?
Yeah. So I'll just there we go, calling Bruce. So.
Yeah, he's having some issues. Sure.
Yep. See, that's he lives far away.
You know, what you said at the beginning of the show reminds me of an occasion I had in a little town called Cleveland. Some of you might have heard it. And Cleveland, Ohio, by the way, the hardest underground metal per capita anywhere in the country, if not the world, I would say, as far as metal music goes. But what about the Nordic
regions? They're heavy into metal.
Yeah, I'll still put Cleveland up against it. Cleveland.
Metal's like black metal is like pop music to them.
I was a dishwasher for a German delicatessen restaurant where I wanted to work there so I could eat for free, but I ended up working there and got to know the family and the owners of this place. And it was a really rare situation. It opened up a lot of bridges for me, and I don't want people. I want people to think about these types of relationships. I think they're important and they're valid in your communities. Where you got to people that run a restaurant, they have the ability to feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yes, I worked at a chain store for bakeries. I won't say their name because they're not paying me. But at the end of it, because their policy is Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. But fresh daily bread. And so at the end of the day, you would have to jump up and down in a massive bin to throw out all the other bread because they couldn't sell it. And it's like the amount, a 40-gallon wheelie bin, and I'm jumping up and down on eclairs. It's just not
Pretty
right. The
horrendous
amount of
that kind of
look,
waste
this
can't
stuff
be put to better use.
There's a lot of waste. It can go to a much better place. It's this ideology that these little communities need to adapt to, a different type of relationship between you and the business, where it's no longer you just going in there for a cup of coffee and you're Danish. You're now going to go in there, and if we can get away from this fiat, this particular circumstance that we surround ourselves in, where a foreign entity, okay, listen, Federal Reserve, not American. The Federal Reserve is a private sovereign entity. Understand this. The ground they sit on is sovereign, right? If we can get, that is in my view, the common denominator for all man is this fiat currency, this World Bank. If we are to eliminate ourselves from that relationship as a country, we take back our sovereignty, but the struggle will lie in how do we develop something of another currency, a value of this and that. It's got to go back to the labor. And that's what brings this to my conversation. If we can develop a system where our labor is rewarded not necessarily with a currency, with some type of physical payment, rather than a relationship where you literally, okay, you've worked 4 hours over there at the Smith Ranch, take your 2 bags and go ahead and then pick through the ranch and help yourself to whatever vegetables, and you take your cuts of meat for 2 weeks, and then every 2 weeks, every month or something. I don't know how it would be. Listen, I don't have the particulars. All right.
This is called Ubuntu.
But this is society. a compromise between a very limited government, which is anarchy. Anarchy, like some people like to put into the context of chaos. Anarchy is not chaos, folks. Get a grip. Anarchy is a minimized, low regulation government, if any government at all. It's a very low government. So I am a mixture of an anno-voluntarist society. And I really want to hear what you got to say, Viking. I know that you're very well educated in this. Am I on the right track here? This is something that we should dive into.
This took place in Russia during the collapse, where if you worked in a boot factory, you got paid in boots, and you took your boots and you traded to the farmer and the baker, and this actually took place.
Yep.
I mean, I was in Russia twice in the 90s, and I'll tell you, it was dire. I mean, it was they were definitely an Ubuntu society where people were trading, because there was no the ruble was like, I mean, I found a Cortek on the ground. I realized it took 44,000 Corteks to make $1. I mean, it was like it was unreal. It was a surreal environment when you had everybody out there in the marketplace trying to just survive, and it was a survival situation when Russia collapsed. And this is what you're talking about. This has absolutely brought them to their knees, but they got creative and they got strong, and they basically had to negotiate every day. I mean, every day was a new day. I mean, I saw people wearing the same clothes for a week. And it was like here we can think about the weekend. They're going to be there. Every day was survival, and it was so surreal just to experience it in that context, where we are so jaded here in our society, where we want to be taken care of. We want to get the stimulus. We want to get our, I got people that don't want to work because they're getting more money on unemployment. I mean, this is really effed up. It's effed up here, man. So, but we are going into what's known as, and it's being actually going to be drawn out. I mean, we already have our new currency printed. It's a rainbow currency. It's going to be basically gold-backed. It's called the QFS, and it's going to go worldwide. And this fiat currency is on the brink of collapse. It's we got maybe 3 to 6 months left.
We cannot have a global currency.
No.
I'm saying
I'm saying every country will have their own gold-backed,
Okay,
asset-backed
all right,
currency.
that's different. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
it's not the central bank system where
No, right. There's two
like-
resets. There's a Davos reset where we're going to go a digital world currency. Russia basically said, "F this. We're not
Yeah,
participating."
Putin himself said we will not be doing a reset.
Right,
Thank you.
right. But there is the other reset. There's two resets. The other reset is gold-backed, asset-backed, and it's every country that gets put on an even playing field. And so it's in the works. There's some reason that I was told or I heard 2 weeks ago that our new currency is actually being distributed in European money machines. So it's really close here. And what you're saying is actually going to be reality here shortly, especially with the COMEX and the IMF and the SLV all collapsing. It's not, the charade is so deep right now. They're so desperate to maintain this. It's like they're dragging and kicking a dead horse, saying that there's nothing wrong. It's a matter of time. We're talking days and weeks, not months and years.
Days and weeks, huh?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And also, Russia went through their reset in 1989, so I think I can see Putin going.
Yeah, an involuntary reset.
I don't think we'll go through this again.
No.
Yet do that. Get out before I shoot you. And
I think that's propaganda, them forcing vaccines on people. However, I don't think it's propaganda in Italy. That's funny. The chosen one, the promised land, the chosen people, according to the scriptures, are force feeding vaccines to their population. Wow.
With their vaccine passports as well.
Yeah, vaccine passports, green vaccine, the green card. Ironically enough, they're calling the green card. And you know what they also are using for a piece of propaganda? Our guy Benny, right? Benny likes to do these little propaganda pieces where he says certain things that aren't actually true.
He learned from the best.
Our latest lovely rhyme from Benny. He says that the FDA actually approved the vaccine. Oh no, they didn't. We all know this.
No.
Oh no, they didn't. And he's telling Israel the vaccines are FDA approved. I mean, are you kidding me?
If you take the vaccine and you die, you're actually signing a form that's experimental. You will not get life insurance. You got to be really understand this. So this is an experimental drug. It's an experimental drug that basically is not even a vaccine. It's gene therapy.
So
Yeah.
you can see you can see the coal though, right? And it's a lot of it's financial too. They don't want to pay the Social Security. Like they're going to be going after anyone over 65, man. Anybody.
My God, I got text today from my pharmacist saying you're eligible for the vaccine. I mean, they literally are texting me.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know,
did you tell them they're eligible to kiss your ass?
No, exactly.
No, because that visual's just really bad. But
so why are people still masking and social distancing after
because
they're
being directed by fear? Because Bruce, we know
it's a
that
phobia.
Fear is the currency of control.
Yeah,
the vaccine doesn't work.
Fear and chaos is their weapons of mass distraction are their stratagem. So here, the WHO and the CDC last May actually on their website, you can go to it and said that this whole thing has been downgraded to common flu. It's on their website. So here, what you're saying here is true because now they've taken this false agenda, this false flag, and weaponized it. They weaponized it.
Yeah, and now you got Emperor Biden, who basically said, now if you have your vaccines and we do well, in a couple of months you may be able to congregate in small groups to celebrate Independence Day.
He's saying by 4th of July you'll be able to be with your family. Go! I saw a T-shirt. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but I put it in host chat. Most of you should have it. It's a little outfit. And on the front of the outfit, the shirt, it says, what did it say? It said, oh, yeah, I'm fully vaccinated. You can hug me now.
Yeah, I like the other one. It's like, I identify as vaccinated, so go away.
Ooh, I like that. I identify as vaccinated. Ooh.
We are coming to the point where governments have to say, okay, will we relinquish control that we've got at the moment?
Oh, no. That's the other thing. Like when I try, I don't try and convert anyone now because I can't be asked. I would always just talk about economics and finance and just like the Federal Reserve. If you got rid of the if you got rid of the Federal Reserve, you'll notice prices will probably drop. If you ignored the debt, which I find fascinating on this planet, you can get away with anything except for you have to pay the debt back. And that's the thing about with the Federal Reserve. Like, we can get out of the Federal Reserve if we pay the debt. And it's like, why pay the debt in the first place? Go ahead, Viking.
The Federal Reserve last year was absorbed by the National Treasury. If you go to any Federal Reserve complex, it was. You go to any Federal Reserve complex around the United States, it's empty. Parking lots are empty. This has been documented.
You're going to tell me I drive over to, say, Pennsylvania. They have one of the bigger Federal Reserve sovereign pieces of land. It literally covers, I think it's nearly a half a mile. I think it's like 2 corner blocks. Federal Reserve building, massive structure, completely sovereign. You're telling me that thing is empty?
Yeah, well, the one in Atlanta, Georgia, is the report was someone's walked by it last week. Nothing in the parking lot. Building was just shut down. Lights are out, gone. I mean, they're starting to dissolve. I mean, this is happening. I mean, we can say what they did, but what they did is dust in the wind because they literally are being reformed.
How? Who has the authority? It has to be a congressional act.
But
who has the authority outside of Congress to, not even the president, only Congress, to end the relationship between the Federal Reserve and the United States?
And I don't trust Congress.
Yeah.
So that's the other problem. That's kind of the problem is unless we, the people, and I actually mean people, not a cliche, there's no one really to enforce. There's no white collar crime, and president's going to get arrested. Why? Because that's a tradition. If they did crimes, they should pay for their crimes. I know I'm kind of wacky about that, but Hillary Clinton should be in jail.
Isn't the tradition for them not to pay for their crimes?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like I would say to people, Trump should be arrested and put in jail. Cool, and all the other presidents as well. And they go, what? It's like, I mean,
who's to say that they're not?
Well, that is true. Like, I only watched a minute of the Oprah, Prince Harry, Meghan, whatever it was, distraction, and a minute was enough. I'm like, it's just cringe, super cringe. Yes. However, I saw a photo of Oprah. Now I can't clarify this, but it looked like she had an ankle bracelet.
There was a large lump in her right.
Yeah.
She had an ankle bracelet, yes.
Yeah, ankle bracelet, or that's where she keeps her Marlboros because it was the same size as a cigarette packet.
That chick also was sitting there, and her hand motions. She does the same hand motions in a lot of shows where she is not in line with the commentary across from her. These hand signals, they're Masonic. Look at them very carefully. Look at her
finger. Are you talking about Oprah?
Her Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. Her index finger goes to her cheek, her face, her chin at certain times during the conversation, and you can pick up on the pattern when she does it versus what is said. I'm telling you, I watched the whole interview.
She actually.
I'm not going to break it down here, but
you have your own shows where you can break it down. So tell people when you're on air.
Yeah, I do. In fact, my next slot on the air tomorrow is 9:00. I run the High Council here at revolution.radiofreedomstuffs.com.
That's West Coast time?
Yeah, that's West Coast, Eastern, or Pacific Standard Time. Act like I've been here before. And then Thursday, I do a 1:00 in the afternoon show, also Pacific Standard Time, both on Studio A. And then I do a Sunday and Monday night. Monday night's kind of iffy here and there, but mostly Sunday nights I run an RT of my own. Sometimes I go solo, but every now and then I have some guests on. Everything's different every week. It just depends.
Yep.
what I'm in the mood for. So
yeah, the joy of Roundtable. The interesting thing about Oprah that she left. I can't remember who she was with, but her contract was up, and she stopped doing the Oprah Winfrey Show, and she started her own channel, which is called the Oprah Winfrey Network, or OWN.
yeah, that's right. That's correct.
And if you just jumble it, it's New World Order and type of stuff. So, conspiracy nuts just went nuts with it. But do you remember they called it the meeting of the Super Friends? It was Oprah. Who's that death-dealing twat? Bill Gates. And it was all these high billionaires. It's like, we're going to get together and save humanity. It's like, well, for $30 billion, you could stop poverty on the planet, and you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's look, poverty is here for a reason. Poverty leads to death early and untimely. It leads to disease, which just causes more death than other people that may not necessarily be sick. It also causes money, money shortages, food shortages.
Can't remember where I saw it. It was on a TV. It could be a TV show. I saw somewhere that if unemployment goes up 1%, 40,000 people die, and that's sort of the level. Like, you can follow that with the price of oil barrels. If oil goes up $5 a barrel, 10,000, 2,000 people die in Africa because they can't afford the petrol and the fuel.
It's it's this garbage dependency platform that the governments of the world have put their people on.
Yeah, and they ignore ideas and inventions that can save the planet. Like, we don't need Jesus to come back. I think Jesus should come back because that will shut up a lot of people. Like, no, I didn't say this. I didn't say that. I don't know. I've got a Jewish accent. I was Jewish. What are you doing?
Mean that at all. What are you?
I didn't effing say that either.
Well, the moment he says I'm not black, everybody's going to call him a racist.
Yeah, exactly. The ideas to save the planet are already in the public, out in the public. I saw a video from 2014. It was actually a TED Talk where it said, I've basically got free energy. I take the ether and I translate it into our electricity. And even Bill Grant, who I believe is listening, good old Sweet Willie. I mowed my way through the CIA. Anyway, 16-year-olds are coming up with free energy. How many times have we seen someone invent, this car runs on water? And
I'll just buy that patent and shove it.
Yeah.
So it says Mr. Ford in 1938 or something.
Oh yeah, Henry Ford. I'm not sure if he's if he was a great human or not. However, he did change. He invented the production line, and in 1932 he invented the hemp car, which was made out of hemp steel and ran on hemp oil. And of course, that's nearly 90 years ago, and we still don't have it. And hemp steel's stronger than stainless steel.
Oh, don't forget about the video, Monty. If you're going to do this, wrap it up with the video. Have you seen it?
Which video?
There's a video of Mr. Ford taking a sledgehammer
50-pound sledgehammer
to the trunk lid. For most of you that don't know, in the early days, the trunk lid used to be called the
bonnet.
The bonnet?
Yeah, that's the front of the car. Yeah.
Oh, it's the front of the car.
Anyway, it's kind of rounded like that. So this guy's hitting it with his 50-pound sledgehammer, and it's bouncing off, and he rubs it with his thumb.
The daylights out of this
not
thing.
even a mark there.
Actually, I could, if I could find the video, Jay Leno did that because there's an actual. They've made a hemp car recently, and they're pounding on it, and it doesn't get marked at all. And so, like,
what are you doing?
There's if you remember the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car, which came out in 1999, and it's narrated by Martin Sheen, the good Sheen, not Charlie.
I think they're all classics. They're all classics, whether they got HIV or not. They're all classics.
Yeah. Mr. Screaming for help for 3 decades. But anyway, it's fascinating.
Tiger Blood, Chief.
Yeah.
Winning. Where did winning go? Winning.
Yeah. I'm so winning. I'm not really remembered.
I've got dragon's blood.
You're on something, Charlie. That's for sure.
Yeah, that guy wrote it out for a long time, though. You got to.
Anyway, going back to Martin, who is in The West Wing, and that's how I learnt most of my American politics, was watching The West Wing. Go figure. I know way too much about your country. Luckily, I'm at an American radio station, so it balance. And that's 21 years ago, and now we'll bring it in because you got Tesla, and it's the technology has been controlled. Where people have said the fax machine was in the 50s, and there was a picture of the space shuttle from 1934, like plans for it, and there's all this stuff.
A cell phone at the Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah, I remember seeing our first mobile phone or cell phone I saw in Australia, which was it looked like 3 bricks stuck together. Well, that was in '86 when it started up.
Oh no, this was a straight up iPhone at a Mike Tyson fight. There's a picture of it. Some dude in the audience taking a picture of the fight. There's so much
technology that, for one thing about like here in Victoria, I think I mentioned it last week, that they've decided to ban all single-use plastic, like forks, knives, spoons, single-use plastic bags.
Just have one utensil for every meal.
Yeah,
and we need to make politicians single-use.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like, well, you should ban petrochemical plastics. You still have hemp and bamboo, and I think there's 3 other. There are other ways of using it.
Oh, hemp could replace. I'm guessing probably, I would say 70%, 75% of all textiles could be replaced by hemp.
Well, that's actually what when you buy a garment that says rayon is either hemp or bamboo. It's a plant fiber.
Yeah, like the joke that I have for that is like at the age of 8.
Europeans call it viscose.
Oh, at the age of 18, you can get a pair of jeans, and when you're 85, you could be buried in them.
Yeah, the thing is, there's not a lot of money in it, and those manufacturing plants are not going to be very busy all the time because they're only going to have to work 3 days a week to supply the whole world because everyone's usually got a pair that lasts their whole life.
Yeah, and now it's a bit of a stretch, but Cortek, you're probably seeing an FJ Holden still driving around somewhere.
Classic. Little Venetian blinds in the back.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like a car that was built in the 50s, and it basically created the car industry here in Australia. But how many 1988 Barinas do you see? It's that whole it's profit versus humanity, where to have the economy keep growing, it's a throwaway society. I've mentioned this before. I could either get my CD player fixed for $1,000 or buy a new CD player for $150.
Mm.
So I just dropped that video in the chat with him banging on the car.
Oh, cool!
Right on.
Yeah, it's mental. I had.
That's not what it made for radio, but it's a great video. I'll drop it in chat if you want to.
I think Zippy 101 put the hemp car as well, but put it in there anyway. So that's what I mean. Like my version of free energy. And I've had someone go, "Oh yeah, but it's like that's the point. I'm just unemployed comedian doing a free radio show once a week, and I've figured out with the electromagnetic frequency of the planet, you stick up 2 pieces of metal, you cut out the magnetic side, and you capture the electrical side. Now, imagine if I owned a white coat and funding. It's like
if I could
copper or a stethoscope.
Copper does an amazing thing. Listen, we're getting into Nassara, we're getting into Tesla technology that ended up in the hands of Orange Man Bad's uncle. Where does all this stuff take us? I mean, it's such an interesting topic.
We're at the point here, Viking. Here's a starting point. We're at the point in society, civilization, frequency, or however you want to say it, that one of these things, if it comes out on the market, it changes everything. Where like the dam is going to crack, where there's sound technology that can heal. We've heard med beds pop up occasionally, and like even keeping the idea is still there because like thousands of years ago with Michael Tellinger, who is really big into Ubuntu in Africa. He's found all these stone circles that's in South Africa and Zimbabwe, and that can be linked back to the Anunnaki time, which is like 250,000 years ago. But they used sound for everything. That's probably one way. Last show they were talking about the pyramids. It's using sound and frequency.
The Antiguans.
Yeah, it's the knowledge of using sound that way, and because if you look at an atom, it's like our solar system in a way. Well, not as stuffed, because our solar system's completely broken. I mean, Venus goes one way, Mars is scarred, Uranus is on its side, or as they say in 2800 Eurectum. But there's so much space in an atom. It's like 92% space in an atom. Like the people think this desk is solid. No, we only think it's solid, but it's just a small atom moving real quick that allows it to be solid. And you think it's solid, so if you run into it, it hurts. But if you understand what's actually going on, you can match the frequency. You should be able to move through the atoms.
It's called phasing.
Yeah. I just realized I started to sound like Yoda.
Beat me up, Scatby.
We are not this crude matter. We are beings of light.
There is no spoon.
There's a spork.
Yeah. As long as we're not the bringer of light, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce.
I sure hope that tech comes before you're in the Oliver Twist porridge line.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. Like that, certain people, because it's go ahead and say it again.
May I have some more?
Get out of here, you little twat. That's where we're at. Well, free energy, pure, a healthy
cures
person
out there. There's cures out there. Look, these things
a healthy person is a customer lost. That is the pharmaceuticals point of view. It's not actually about health. And can you imagine if we all work together and we're all living like Bruce? I think I'm going to use that as a term now. If you do well, you'll live like Bruce.
Bruce is doing very well. Bruce is, he's in a very peculiar situation right now. Man on the hill right now, but I just don't know if we have the same type of opportunity in other countries. I just don't see myself up here with that same opportunity.
Not yet. And you adapt it to, just give me a sec, Viking, and I'll hand over the talking stick to you.
Do you get snow on that mountain? Can I set up like a little park or something?
The highest peak here in the Talamancas does have snow at the top, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But you're human and you're a unique experience, and so you can adapt to, like, the premise of what Bruce is living, you can adapt to your own reality. You don't actually have to move to Costa Rica and get pigs.
Oh, no, trust me, I'm in my own reality. Everybody will tell you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce, and then Viking, please.
It's just autonomy. I forgot what I was going to say, Monty.
I think you're going to praise me for being an awesome person. And anyway, Viking, go ahead.
Well, no, I've always been in the lifestyle where I, kind of prepping and foraging and, just creating a sustenance here. I've got a 13-acre, I live in a Victorian house that was built in 1886, and I've got outbuildings and it's like I just had a vision. If you had a vision, if this is your will, it will manifest. I've lived here for 8 years, and when I actually went to create this place, as a manifestation, I had a short list, about 20 items on my list, and every one I crossed off. Even the frogs and for trees and having certain plants, and it all came. You just have to have that will. If you don't have that will and vigilance, then you're going to be stuck in this rat race, going round and round, going nowhere fast. And you just have to have the determination and the vision to manifest. Like Bruce, he had this vision and he manifested it. It's not that hard. You just got to be able to trust in your determination.
Yeah. Now we're coming to the end of Planet Collingwood. I've had fun. There's been laughs. There's been information. A bit of argy-bargy, a bit of jibes, and all good. That's someone's got COVID. No, I jest. That's all right. That's all right.
Hey-o.
That's part of Planet Collingwood where anything goes. Yeah, that's all right. People say, "Oh, be careful what you say off air." It's like I don't. I just go on air and say it. So oh, they're tracking your recording. I record myself and then share it on YouTube. I'm okay with this. So yeah, we've got say 3 or 4 minutes to go. So let's just go around the horn and people can find out where they can find them. Yes, no, that sentence really got away from me. Anyway, well, Mechanic, you've told people where people can. I think.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me, man. I'm gonna step off. Everybody on the panel, nice talking to you. Viking, good hearing from you. Bruce, hope you're having a good time down there. I forgot we got Cortex, right?
Yeah, nice.
And
Nice talk to you.
John, right? And the Viking.
Man, I'm sorry.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's always good to be on here with the fellas. I'll be talking to you later.
Yes. Please come back. Thank you. Viking, where can people find yourself?
Yes, so we do a show on Revolution Radio on Studio A at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time called the Galactic Interstellar Council with Christopher Jacobs and Conrad Zeiderveld. And I was just going to say, I know it's an odd timing, but all of my shows, all these council shows are recorded and uploaded to YouTube on Christopher S. Jacobs' channel. So Christopher S. Jacobs has the entire archive of all my, I don't know, there's got to be 150 shows at this point.
Yeah.
If you're interested. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for being here. It's always fun. And Bruce, where you're not doing McDonald's in the morning anymore, are you?
No.
Okay. That's Bruce MacDonald. No. But you do have a couple of books for sale. Where can people find them?
Oh, hey, everybody knows. I'll find you. I want to talk to you. I'll find you.
Yeah. So if you get a phone call from Costa Rica, it's like, hey, buy my books. Don't make me come over there.
He has them on Amazon. Bruce MacDonald. They're great books.
Yes.
Yep, another one coming.
Yep, and that's going to trump them all, pun intended. Cortek, what bus line can people see you on?
I'm not going very, very many places. Just thanks for having me and stuff like that. I just had some news in. Apparently, someone in London gets stabbed every 52 seconds. Poor bastard.
Holy.
Yeah, because gun control, but knifing's up 300%. But it's all good. Yeah. Humanity. John, yourself, sir.
Yeah, Cortek just comes on the air because if he wasn't on the air, he would just be walking the rabbit-proof fence all the time.
Yeah, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
It's a big fence. Go ahead, John.
He'd be a fair way from the rabbit-proof fence.
Yeah, he's got to get there first.
Exactly, and it's quite a trip.
Australia's the only country.
Might as well go and there's your plan. While he's looking at the fence, you can just pop over the road, and it's probably only 100 kilometres away. Is Pine Gap?
Yeah,
sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Great show, guys. Thank you.
It's always been fun.
Dynamite.
Oh yeah. We're taken over by rabbits and those big rabbits that they call kangaroo. This has been Planet Collingwood. My name's Monty Dean. You can find me at Wafer Thin Entertainment on YouTube, and I'm transferring to Odyssey at this point in time as well. So if I get big enough, I may get censored. So that's the joy. I'll get monetized and then have to pay 24% to the American government because that's one thing I don't like about governments. I want to earn money, and then the government goes, give me a third.
But you won't lose your content.
Yeah, I know. That's the good thing about Odyssey is I won't lose my context. So there you are. And I'm not sure what's coming up next, but Planet Collingwood will be back in 6 days and 22 hours because I think the UK is time traveling this weekend. And then the weekend after, which is Easter and a full moon. So beware of werewolf Jesus. Australia will be traveling on Sunday. So then, yeah, it's that weird time where the times they are changing.
If you wanted to attract werewolf Jesus, how would you go about it, do you reckon?
I watched American Werewolf in London. You stray from the path.
I know the answer to that, actually. You wear the same pair of jeans continuously without washing them for 6 months, and every other day you just sprinkle a little Old Spice down there. And the urine and the Old Spice create the must that draws them in.
Yep. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I just think American War for London is like, yeah, don't stray from the path, and like that sounds very that sounds very Christian actually. Don't stray from the path.
Whoops.
Yeah, oopsie. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. You are awesome. We love you from afar. We'll be back later on. Have fun, everyone, and keep laughing. I dare you. See you soon.